To lead the Skol chant and sound the Gjallarhorn, please welcome the 31st Adjutant General of the Minnesota National Guard, Major General John Jensen.
Well, hello, this is John Randall, Minnesota Vikings legend, and it is my pleasure to say, Minnesota Vikings fans uncensored, are you ready? Keith, get your people up. Let's go. Skol, 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 baby. Let's go.
Hello, Vikings fans. Welcome to the Let's Skol Show. I'm Fish. And as always with me, I've got Mr. Positivity, Cody Bowden. Hey, who greets with smoke, Skolful Shack. Our Captain Keith will be joining us in a few moments after he gets everything launched in the background. Welcome to our 21st off-season show of the year. We're going to be here every week during the off-season. We're going to get through this abyss together, people. Tonight, we got some Skol news. We had a legend pass away. Kwesi got extended. OTAs. Vikings got some money. We got a new thing called Cody Calls It. We're going to predict the Lions schedule, do some Around the Gjallarhorn, and we're going to give our hot takes. We will also have the lines open all show for those who want to come on and give some takes. We are 95 days away from the Vikings' first game of the season. So we're going to take a look at players that wore 95 and hasn't been the greatest of luck for those players. Starting out with Mark Stewart. He played for us in 1984. Gerald Robinson, who played for us in 86 and 87. Don Bramlett in 87. Max Stevens in 91. Isera Tuaolo, 92. Fernando Smith, 94 to 97. Martin Harrison in 99. Bryce Popp in 2000. Wow. Bryce Popp played for us. Wow. Sean Worthen, 01. Kenichi Udeze. Looking at you, Robbie. 04 to 07, Sharif Floyd in 13, Scott Crichton, 14 to 16, Ifede Odenigbo, 19 to 20, Janarius Robinson, 21 to 22, and Kyrie's King Tonga, 22 to 23. Just a couple of notes. Udeze played 4 seasons for the Vikings before being diagnosed with leukemia. He had 11 sacks and 47 starts. Floyd, injured on his first game of his fourth season in 16, had meniscus surgery that resulted in nerve damage, effectively ending his career in his knee. And Robinson, leg injury in his rookie year of the offseason, causing him to miss the season, practice squad the next year, then cut. Any of these names stand out to you, fellas?
I would say Sharif Floyd in my way. He was the first round pick, right? Was he the pick before Harrison Smith or right after?
No, he was part of the 3 with Xavier Rhodes and Cordell Patterson.
Okay, yeah. And he was supposed to take over for Kevin Williams' spot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it kind of sucked that he tore and he had that career-ending injury, because it did take him a little bit to get started, I think, for us. And then he started getting going, started learning better. It's a sad thing to see a guy with so much talent go down like that.
Yeah, and it wasn't really even the injury; it was the surgery that took him out, because they hit a nerve, and he blamed the Vikings for that. Actually, I think it might have been their doctors.
I remember Zim's reaction to it. He was like, "I ain't never heard of such a thing," and this is probably going to become a fishism, but I have, because I had the exact same thing happen to me. Like if I look at my quad on my left leg, it's atrophied, it's spasms. I had knee surgery back in 2003. and same thing happened, nerve damage, and it's just not the same. So I can imagine he couldn't be explosive. He couldn't play football.
Yeah. I remember Bryce Pop coming over to us, and I was actually remember being pretty excited about that because he was a great Buffalo Bill and actually a pretty good Packer before that. So, like, he was a pretty solid player, but he only played 1 year for us. And as for Tuolo, he was I think either the first or second player ever to come out as being gay since this is Pride Month. I think that's mentionable. He didn't come out till after his playing days, but he was still credited as being like one of the first ones to come out and say that. So I do remember him. He was also a pretty good player.
I think he was also a finalist on The Voice in 17.
I know he was on one of those shows. I don't know how far he went. You probably know more than I do.
He sung the national anthem last year at the game versus the Texans. He sung it a couple of times for us, but yeah. Shaq, who you got?
Yeah, I just have to agree with Cody with Sharif Floyd. A lot of these players I'm familiar with, more so, the late 2000 players like Scott Crichton, Ifeadi Odenigbo, and Janoris Robinson. It's just, those was late to mid-round picks, and we kind of hope, they'll develop. But, this is why I don't really care about picks, because I feel like, after you get to the 4th round, to the 7th round, it's a toss-up if they're going to even contribute to your team. You might get a couple stats here and there from them, but I think the best pick for me would have probably been Sharif Floyd. I wish he would just had a longer career, because I feel like Zimmer defense, besides the double A gap blitz, he needed a pure pass rusher from the interior to make his defense complete. Sharif Floyd would have been his Geno Atkins.
Yeah, buddy. And how about Kenichi, man? 4 years with us, then he's diagnosed with leukemia, cut his career short. And I thought for sure he was going to be the clue that would have Robbie beat me at you guys stumped, but he didn't.
And he's another one, kind of like Floyd, where he was like just starting to pick it up when he got that diagnosis. I do think he tried to come back, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
It was Udeze, Bob.
Is that number cursed? Is there any Vikings player on this team wearing the number 95 right now?
I don't believe so, and if so, they should go change it right now, because I would just cut him.
Yeah, before anything bad happens to him.
So what you're saying is he get Kirk.
There is a player that has number 25. It's somebody by the name of Travis Bell. I think I'm okay with Travis Bell wearing 95 right now.
Yeah.
Are you serious? We got a player named Travis Bell on the roster?
When did that happen?
Yeah, we do. He might have been one of those free agents, the tryouts. They got, onto the 90. What's up, Timmy Skol? So we as mentioned earlier, we do have a little bit of sad news, and that was the passing of Jim Marshall on Tuesday. He was 87 years old. Just a Vikings legend. Like, he played 19 years with us, 20 years in total. He played his first year with the Cleveland Browns. And then he was part of the draft for the expansion of the Vikings. And I don't know if he played every single game for the Vikings in that time, but he played 282 straight games, which was an NFL record that was broken, I believe, in 2005 by Jeff Fiegels, who's a punter. So I don't give that the same amount of credit that you got a defensive lineman playing 282 straight games, including 270 straight starts. He was a part of the Purple Eaters. He played in 4 Super Bowls. Maybe that has something to do with the reason that he has been omitted from the Hall of Fame unjustly. They didn't keep sacks back in those days, but people have gone back and done the research, looked at the game logs, watched the tape, and he's credited with 130 and a half sacks, which would put him at 22 overall. Mm-hmm. So I think everybody around him with that sack total is in the Hall of Fame. You got John Randall in the Hall of Fame, Chris Dolman in the Hall of Fame. They don't have 130 sacks. They didn't play 282 straight games. Like, he was the NFL Iron Man. And Rinaldi would love this. He is one player who had his jersey retired. Number 70 cannot be worn by any Minnesota Viking. that was retired in 1999, and I was actually at that game at the Metrodome. And a little bit of a cool story about that is after the Vikings had beat the Chargers in that game, it was Jeff George against Jim Harbaugh, so that was pretty cool. But after the game, my dad wasn't ready to leave, and he had a few beers, so he just wanted to stay. And we were the last ones in there, and we walked all the way down to as far as you could walk to the wall. And my dad was like asking security, "Can I just go out there and please touch the end zone just one time? Can I go touch the end zone?" And they wouldn't let him. They're like, "No, sorry, we have people who pay to do that kind of stuff." But then out came this big old man walking towards us. It was Jim Marshall. He was getting ready to do an interview about his number being retired. He came over and talked to us and got to shake his hand. Biggest hand I've ever come across. Like, he shook my arm. I shook his finger. But he was really nice. He talked to us, for a few minutes while they were setting up for the interview. And, the security was actually being cool about it since he was talking to us. And then, once he went away, we got escorted out. But, yeah, I actually did get to meet Jim Marshall. So that's a memory that I have in my Viking fandom. I know none of us were really around or watching football to know him while he played, but Jim Marshall's a name as a Viking fan that you hear every season. His name always comes up for one reason or another. Do you guys have any thoughts when you hear the name Jim Marshall?
Yeah, I think that if Alan Page had never existed on that Purple People Eater team, everybody would be giving him the same amount of reverence as Alan Page gets, because he really was. I mean, they were all monsters, but he was just pure greatness. And it's unfortunately that he made one mistake in his career. It really is, because he's great. He was a fantastic player.
Yeah.
So, Cody, Jack, I know you're a little younger. You guys got anything?
Yeah, you're right. It reminds me of my dad, right? Jim Marshall is my dad's favorite player, Vikings player of all time. And he constantly says about our defenses this past couple of years, Purple People Eaters, baby. I can hear him on the phone right now telling me, screaming and being all happy about it. And I'm like, you can't omit Jim Marshall from the Hall of Fame when you have Alan Page, and next to Alan Page's name, it's in Carl Eller's name, it says part of the Purple People Eaters. You need the entire group of Purple People Eaters into the Hall of Fame. And not just because they're omitting Jim Marshall, they need to bring in Gary Larson also. If you're going to put that famous defensive name into the Hall of Fame next to those great players, you need to add the other two that formed that Purple People Eater defense.
What about you, Shaq? Anything come to mind when you hear about Jim Marshall and the stories about him?
So I'll bring up the story of how I found out about him. Was I know NFL Films, they like to bring up, the old films back in the day before, that you had YouTube or all these highlights on ESPN. They showed when, Jim Marshall ran the wrong way, and they had all the other players talk about it. And then you also had, I believe they did a Missing Ring series about the Vikings in the 70s. So, I wasn't allowed to see it, but, just hearing the stories of how the team felt like a family back in the day and how they was this close to winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I think it's a travesty that he's not into the Hall of Fame, and I think it's actually a bummer that he'll probably get in next year because of this. It's kind of like baseball. Oh, Pete Rose died. Okay, we'll reinstate you now. So he's not going to get to see it. His family will. I was actually surprised when I was going through, his accolades and, how great of a player he was, the Iron Man status of the 282 games, that he was only a Pro Bowler twice. That kind of shocked me.
That's crazy. And he should just get in just for that Iron Man record he held for so long. Maybe that's what he should be getting in there for. And it's ridiculous.
And it's not like he wasn't hurt. He was definitely hurt. He was just playing through injuries.
That's a good point. Well, rest in peace, Jim Marshall. I'm sure we'll be wearing a patch this year, or we better be.
Thanks for taking my hot take.
You didn't have to say it. Now you ruined it. Now you gotta think of a new one. So switching gears here into a little bit better news, and that is that well, I guess it depends how you feel about it. Kwesi getting extended finally ends the speculation of if it'll happen, when it'll happen. It got done. He'll be our GM for the foreseeable future, along with KOC being our coach. I wasn't able to find any specifics, but the rumor is it's a 4-year deal, which lines up with KOC, who got a 5-year deal. So they're tied together over the next 4 to 5 years. We've been 34-17 with them, 0-2 in the playoffs. But I think overall it's been a pretty successful run. I think the way this team's been operating and building and playing, we kind of forgot that we've actually been in a rebuild most of this time, because that whole competitive rebuild, that was true. It was real. So I do think it's been a good thing to this point. Maybe we haven't had the results we wanted, maybe because they were exceeding expectations early on. But are you guys all happy with this? Or is there anyone that thought that, no, I wanted to see this year before it happened?
Shit better pan out real fast on some of these draft picks in order for me to be like, oh, okay. But all in all, he got his extension. That's great. Great for continuity of the team. And if things don't work out right, he can get fired and it won't count against Cap.
Yeah, I'm with.
But if he was ended up getting fired, like, would that be putting KOC in jeopardy? I mean, are they a package deal or not anymore?
I don't think they're a package deal, man, because KOC got his extension quite a while ago. If they were a package deal, they'd have followed that right up like a week or two later and kept them together.
There are rumors they're waiting to see how the draft went first, so I guess they might love the draft, Fish.
Good on them.
I think it has more to deal with, you had this rookie quarterback that sat out a year, right? And they had a shot to go get Aaron Rodgers to be part of this team, right? But I think the fan base wants to see this quarterback that we drafted going forward. I think all Kwesi needed to do was place J.J. McCarthy in the starting role, and that's what got him his extension.
Skol, Lunk. Skol, Rex. Skol, Bob.
What about you, Shaq? You happy with it? I think one of your hot takes might have hit.
Yeah, I had to get that easy hot take in. I'm happy with it.
Live like Angel Reese.
I think Kwesi, what he basically got extended for, yeah, he hasn't been hitting on his draft picks, but it's the free agents that he signed that overachieved, that compensated for his draft picks. Like, we didn't expect Van Ginkel to be a damn near defensive player of the year. We didn't expect Grenard to be, continue where he left off. And then we didn't expect Patrick Jones to take that next step. I know he wasn't a Kwesi pick, but Kwesi decided to keep him. And, we also got to contribute to coaching hirings. Kwesi hired KOC. Kwesi hired B-Flow. They also seen that when Ed Donatell, his defense wasn't working, they was quick to get rid of him. So, what I like about Kwesi is if he sees that he made a mistake, he's not going to throw on it for too long. He's going to nip in but take his bruises and move on. So I'm hoping his draft picks pan out, and I'm happy he got the extension.
Okay, so you kind of asked my next question, because I was like, are you happy with it, or are you just like, you're okay with it? So, Cody, are you happy with it, or you're like okay with it?
I mean, they're both the same thing. I mean, if you're okay with it, you got to be happy with it. I mean, that's the end of the story. That's your GM for the next 4 to 5 years. Unless the wheels fall off really early, J.J. McCarthy is not good, then we might be seeing.
I'm saying that. You keep putting that into the ether, bro, and
I know.
We'll talk about that in a minute, but everything's pointing to that's not going to happen.
Everything
greatest OTA quarterback in history.
Yeah, he is the. I do think KOC is quarterback whisperer. And I do think Kwesi, with the lack of his prior drafts and how things fell apart, I still think he's done pretty well in the first round of the draft. And the first round is where it really, really matters for talent. And I think he did pick out the best talent he could 3 out of his 4 drafts. So, yes, I would say I'm happy with it. I'm happy the way Kwesi has drafted 3 out of the 4 years in the first round.
I'm glad you said that, because that's what I want to ask next. Like, is it time to let 2022 go? Like that it was his first draft. That was, basically the players are on their 5th year of their deal or whatever, or coming up on it. Like, is it time to let it go, or are we still going to be talking about that for another year or 2 or 3? Michael Fish, it looks like you're not ready to let that one go.
Oh, no. I mean, it's all part of the puzzle. I mean, I don't like the negativity that Cody puts out on our comeback player of the year, offensive player of the year, and MVP candidate quarterback that we're going to have this year. But really, you got a bust in the first draft. You got a good wide receiver in the second. I don't know. You still don't know about J.J. McCarthy and Dallas Turner in the third, and then you reached for a guard in the fourth. So, I mean, and the rest of his draft picks ain't shit. I mean, we could go through the whole list, and I actually started to compile that list again, and just about everybody's either gone, traded, or whatever. The guy is no good at drafting as a whole. So JJ's got to be a stud. Dallas Turner's got to start his ascension. And Donovan Jackson's got to make a fool out of me for me to be happy about this extension.
I like those odds. It's something you do to speak that into existence, and it's magical, and I like it. It's kind of like negging the team during the game. You have a power, you have a gift, and I'm glad you choose to use it.
For the sake of goodness.
For the sake of goodness.
I think.
Would you guys see? Okay,
go ahead. That 2022 draft, the first 2 rounds were absolutely it was a bad draft for the first 2 rounds. The funny thing is about it is we had players already on the team that became huge contributors after that draft. All right. So you look at we drafted Lewis Cine, who was a player on the team already that probably would have sat behind Lewis Cine if Lewis Cine was any good, but he came out contributing. Is Josh Metellus, right? Then you look at the cornerback position, Byron Murphy. He came out of nowhere. Now he let a big fat contract this year, so that replaced the Andrew Booth thing. So if you look at it, it was kind of like, well, we'll try it out, and then it happens.
I can't follow that logic at all. Not even. I mean, it's absolutely reversed of what it should be. For longevity, you've got the draft to be able to take the place of these players and be successful. I mean, free agency, hitting it in free agency and doing so well in free agency is great for now. But in just a few minutes, we're going to talk about where we're going to be next year. And that's the problem with missing in the draft and having to do it in free agency, is where we're going to be next year.
Cody,
I see what we have. Okay, if we didn't draft Lewis Cine, what did that bring out of Josh Metellus?
How about this, Cody? What if we'd have taken Kyle Hamilton? Let's just dredge up that old one.
Then where would Josh Metellus be at?
He would probably be playing the dime.
He probably wouldn't be on the team.
But you know what? We'd have probably an all-pro. We'd have an all-pro safety.
Would he be an all-pro safety for us? In Donatel's scheme, would he be an all-pro safety in Donatel's scheme?
Maybe not, but I'm pretty sure he would be in B-Flows.
But okay, Byron Murphy. If we going after a Caleb Evans that draft in the second round. If Caleb Evans is any good, where would Byron Murphy be? Well,
all right. I'm going to dig a little deeper on that. We should have never had the draft pick to get Andrew Booth Jr. or Caleb Evans. We should have had the Lions' first round pick the next year.
Yeah, we should have.
And they wouldn't have Jahmyr Gibbs, if I remember correctly.
We should have just traded up.
For what though? We needed we had Kirk Cousins, right? A quarterback or a quarterback. Right?
We needed a corner.
They got this extension because J.J. McCarthy's entered as the rookie quarterback. Because if you look in 2022, the only quarterback picked up in that draft was Kenny Pickett. They were literally stuck in between a hard draft to lead this franchise. If you're a new GM, you're a new head coach, the very first thing you do when you come in the building is you pick your signal caller to lead this franchise, to lead your franchise. It's the face of your franchise.
Unless you already had the face, and that was Kirk Cousins, baby.
Yeah, right. And he was on the fence. Like, is he going to come back? What are we going to do with him? I just think they just got put in that position, and they probably really wanted a quarterback, but tough luck. The only quarterback on the board that year was Kenny Pickett, and look where he's at.
Well, let's talk about that quarterback that we ended up getting. That's JJ McCarthy, of course. OTAs were this past week, and man, did that man light up OTAs. I've never seen someone with such a good touchdown to interception ratio. He was doing Tom Brady-like things, putting up Tom Brady-like numbers. Of course, I'm being a little facetious here, but it's just crazy. All the good hype and good news we're hearing, like the vibe is awesome right now with this team and surrounding this quarterback. It's like his energy is actually feeding off into the fans and feeding off to the rest of the team. So I think that's a great thing. People are like, oh, you're getting too hyped up about OTAs, this and that. OTAs don't matter. But I'll tell you what, I'd rather be hearing what we're hearing and going through what we're going through with this than what the Bears are right now. The Bears are like, oh, Caleb's struggling. Caleb and Ben Johnson aren't getting along. Like, he's having a tough time doing his offense. I'd rather be hearing, oh, he has thrown 30 touchdown passes in OTAs, and him and JJ are best friends, and the team is rallying around him. And like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Are you guys buying in on the hype, or are you kind of optimistic, not believing it at all, or are you just wait and seeing?
If anybody, the people who are saying don't believe the hype, if his stat line read 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions through OTAs, they would be shouting to the rooftops that it's Doomsday Bill.
Be more
it's over. But because his OTAs look great, it don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. But if he was absolutely struggling, it's all over.
I actually agree with that. The naysayers, they would be pouncing all over it if it was negative news coming out, and that's some bullshit.
Some bullshit.
What about you, Shaq? Are you buying the hype, or are you like, you're kind of in, or you're still sitting back waiting to see the regular season?
So I'm in between and liking what I'm seeing, but waiting to see for preseason at least, because I know some fans hate when I bring this up, but if you remember when Patrick Mahomes in his first OTA practices after Alex Smith left, he was looking like dog shit. He was throwing interception after interception. And then nobody would have thought from OTAs to the end of the season that he would have had 5,000 yards passing and then 45 touchdowns. So, yeah, I'm enjoying the OTAs so far, but I need to see how it looks in like a live action game, because I want to see like what happens when there's a missed pickup. I want to see JJ McCarthy maneuver, roll out the pocket, hit an open target, or maneuver, run and get the first down. So it's nice that he's doing all these completions and finding chemistry with JJ, Justin Jefferson, and Jordan Addison.
Skol, Lucy.
So there was another podcast out there, and they had a football analyst on, and he had come out and said that he's not really buying in on JJ McCarthy yet, and that the Vikings really weren't either, because they really wanted to bring Sam Darnold or Daniel Jones back. Do you guys believe that?
Negative.
Was there an article out that they rescinded their offer to Daniel Jones and let him walk?
Yes.
Honestly, I don't believe that, because if the Vikings wanted to, we had the cap space to bring back Sam Darnold if we wanted to. We had the cap space to bring back Daniel Jones if we wanted to. We could have signed Aaron Rodgers if we wanted to. I feel like since we didn't do none of those moves, the whole team, from the owners down to the teammates, all believe in JJ McCarthy. So it's a non-story. I guess it's just talkers, because they all banking on, well, he didn't play a single down in the NFL. So only people who really believe in him is Vikings fans and some Michigan fans. So it's just talking.
Yeah. Screw anybody, any naysayer about JJ McCarthy, right? if you're that JJ McCarthy naysayer out there and you're like waiting for him to mess up, right? You're watching games. Oh, I hope he throws an interception here, just so you can tell somebody you told them so. You're really not a fan. If he fails, the Vikings fail. Your team fails. I really honestly think of that. If you're one of those guys out there, Robbie, that really want to see this quarterback fail, right? And you're just waiting for it just so you can tell somebody you told them so, you're not a real fan, dude. I'm sorry. You are not a Vikings fan. Quarterback fails.
What up, D?
I'm all hyped up about JJ McCarthy. I'm going to ride or die with JJ McCarthy, even if he plays like Christian Ponder. I'm going to wait till he is off this team before we move on to a different quarterback.
I want to stop those comparisons, the Christian Ponder comparisons. Like I want those to die because
I'm just going with
I don't even know why Ponder has to end this conversation. Let's talk about some other comparisons that were brought up by some of his teammates this week. He was compared to two different quarterbacks by his teammates, one being Harrison Phillips, who compared him to Josh Allen, and the other being Justin Jefferson, who compared him to Joe Burrow. Two very good quarterbacks. And this was not done by the media. This wasn't done by fans. This was by players that played with those quarterbacks. Anything to that?
Justin Jefferson, how many years did he play with Joe Burrow in college?
One.
Like three?
One. I think it was one or two at the most.
It might have been one or two. Because Joe Burrow started off at
Ohio
State, and then he transferred.
Yeah. I'll take his word over anybody sitting on their couch looking at the TV screen.
100%.
And what's funny, I brought it up a couple of weeks ago. I said, if we could get JJ McCarthy to play like Joe Burrow, then I feel like we succeeded because, Joe Burrow doesn't have the best of anything for the quarterback, but what he does do is he makes good decisions, and he's able to move in the pocket, and he has enough mobility to extend plays. So as long as he can play like Joe Burrow, I see nothing wrong with JJ McCarthy succeeding in this offense.
Give me 90% of Joe Burrow without the injury problems, and we're a Super Bowl team.
90%.
This year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so no, I like it. I like all the positive stuff we're hearing. It's good. And to be a Viking fan right now, it's fun. Like the offseason is usually a slow, dry time, but this is kind of making it exciting. And I'm said it a few times, and I'm gonna keep saying it. The vibe is good right now. It's real, and I'm all here for it. There's also word coming out that the OTAs for what they can be were pretty intense. For they really can't have contact or anything, but they were being pushed out there. You could tell that KOC is definitely having a chip on his shoulder right now with the way the last two playoff appearances went after having such great seasons. He's won Coach of the Year. He got the extension. He's got expectations, and he's putting it onto his players. And again, I love that. You had Jeff Okudah, who actually played with the Lions when Dan Campbell was still coming out as the coach, and you know how hard-ass Dan Campbell is. He was saying he couldn't believe how intense the OTAs were. So I think, around the league, KOC kind of comes across as soft, but it seems like he's trying to shed that a little bit, and he really has Super Bowl expectations. Like, it's not okay, we just need to go out there, compete, and be good. No, it's time. More is required.
More.
You guys get that same feel?
So what you're saying is we're expecting a fine from the NFL.
You know what? I'm okay with that. Sometimes you got to hit a player. Not the knees or anything like that, but
it don't hurt to have a defensive coordinator like B-Flow. He probably won't let it not be intense. Like, even if KOC wanted to kind of take it easy and do the walkthrough and avoid injuries, B-Flow is probably like, we're going to baptize this kid.
And you heard that throughout the years, even when we had Kirk Cousins. When we first got B-Flow, Kirk Cousins was like, man,
yeah,
these practices are intense.
I like the intensity because it Yeah, sorry. I like that intensity because it shows that KOC, I think, finally has that championship goal on his mind. He got his quarterback. Now he really wants to push. He really wants to see his team being led by this quarterback and push it to that championship thing style of intensity. Because you look at the Eagles, you hear about Eagles, Patriots, Chiefs, and the way they run their practices. They're pretty intense too after winning championships or being contenders. I think he sees us that way. I think he sees the goal finally.
Oh, he should. I mean, he's done everything as a coach except win a playoff game. So, and I don't think he just wants to go win a playoff game. I think that point is past. Like, I really think like it's championship or nothing in his mind, and I'm glad that he's doing it that way. And it's cool, man, that he really believes in JJ McCarthy. Because if that's the goal and that's what he has said, if he didn't think JJ McCarthy was capable of getting this to that, he would have done something. He could have signed Aaron Rodgers, who did sign with the Steelers today, or agreed that he's going to sign with them. So Aaron Rodgers will not be a Viking, and that's cool. I'm glad with that. But that option was there, and he chose to stick with JJ McCarthy in a season where it's championship or bust. Yeah. So that gives that, the confidence, the hype. I'm loving it.
I think that first contract he had, the goal was change the culture, get this train back on the tracks. That first contract's over. He did that complete. That's checked off the list. Now he's looking at his second goal, and that's a championship.
We heard a lot of good stuff too out of OTAs from what is perceived as the weakest skill position that we have, and that's the cornerbacks. We had Blackman out there running routes, looking crisp, looking like that knee's healing up nicely. So, he's going to be a contributor out there. We had our new man, Isaiah Rodgers, out there. He was one to make JJ McCarthy look a little bit flawed, look a little bit human. He stepped in front of an Addison pass and made that interception. And I can't blame JJ McCarthy when it's a guy like Isaiah Rodgers. He's going to make plays on the best of them. So we can let that slide for JJ, but it was nice to see Isaiah Rodgers out there making plays.
He got a pick off a rookie that hasn't had any meaningful snaps. Come on now.
No, he was in Jordan Addison's back pocket with the whole time.
He did what I complained about Byron Murphy not doing on his 6 interceptions. He stepped in front of a pass. Like, he stepped in front of the receiver and made the interception. Wasn't, just thrown to him. And that's the kind of player we're getting with Isaiah Rodgers, who will be one of our starting cornerbacks. But it's also good to see that Blackman's out there looking good, looking crisp, like he's going to contribute. We'll talk about it in a little bit. There might be another move out there, but I'm starting to feel like, we might be okay without it, because we usually do run thin at the cornerback position. And right now with Murphy, Rodgers, and Blackman, I think we might be all right. And then, you got, what's his name? Nudie. McLovin. So I think we might be all right there, but it's good to see that. And then there is some positive news about Jay Ward, who I know Shaq and Rinaldi last offseason, they were pretty hyped about him, and it just didn't come to fruition. But they have him out there kind of doing the Josh Metellus role. And again, it's just OTAs, and this is what we have to talk about. So we're going to talk about it. But apparently he's looking good out there. He's picking up the reads on the run plays. He's in there getting his nose into the plays. He's, covering the pass as well. Like, he's out there trying to earn his spot. And so far it seems like it's going well. So we are getting, some good news from our secondary, which I think if you ask most people, they would say that that's our weakness. So it's all good news coming out of OTAs. And like I said, it's better than hearing bad stuff. Like last year, I don't even want to say what we were going through at this time last year, because I don't want to bring that in. But this offseason so far has been a better offseason.
This year, I am not going to say.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
There will be no more Vikings this year.
And then, so next week they do start mandatory training camp.
There we go.
So apparently everybody was at these voluntarily ones, but not everybody was happy to be there. So we will see if we have a problem with the mandatory training camp, because I think Josh Metellus wants to get paid. If I'm reading the news and headlines right.
Let's get the pads on. Let's put the pads on. Mandatory OTAs is fun and all, but they're running around in shorts. Let's get the pads on. Let's see how fast they can run with pads. Let's see Isaiah Rodgers keep up with Jordan Addison now with pads on and undercutting a pick or interception. Let's see JJ McCarthy throw the ball with his pads on.
What do you think about Josh Metellus? You think he's going to hold out?
Josh Metellus? So I think he's in trouble if you see guys like Jay Ward, and the Vikings kind of had a feeling, I feel, that Josh Metellus was going to hold in, or hold out. That's why they re-signed Theo. That's why they signed Theo Jackson to such a kind of a good contract. So I think his job is in trouble. If he doesn't sign a contract, I think his job is in trouble.
That's an interesting take. I don't know.
The problem with being a Swiss Army knife as a safety, Keith, is this for him. He has no leverage. If he tries to test free agency, other defenses are going to be like, well, where are we going to put you? That's why I keep saying, instead of having these amorphous players, you have somebody who's great at one thing and put them there and lock that down. And he will find out that on the backside of that, if he tries to test free agency, he ain't going to be happy there either. It's going to be just like all those other times where we've had those players say, no, I want this, or I'm walking. And then they walk and they sign for less somewhere else. And we're like, why didn't you just sign for that here? Right, Keith?
Right. No, that bugs me when that happens. But, I mean, he's causing the stink before free agency, apparently. So I wonder how it will affect this season. And I get what you're saying about, teams aren't going to see him as a straight-up safety because I don't even think the Vikings see him as one. But he is a good fit here as long as B-Flow's here because I know what you're saying about being specialized at one thing, but that's just not the way that B-Flow's defense runs. So I think they should put a little respect on him and give him a little something. I don't think he should command anything crazy, though. I mean, what, $6 to $8 million a year? Am I being crazy? Am I being cheap, Keith, right there?
Yeah, a little bit.
You think so?
I think he gets around double that. I think he's around 14. That's where because I think a team will pay $14 million with him.
Josh Metellus. I don't see Josh Metellus getting $14 million from anyone but the lottery.
What's the linebackers like? What's the typical linebacker pay right now? Not the top tier, but like I guess that second tier linebackers.
Probably like 8 to 10.
So I could see him probably making $12 million. What's he making right now? That's probably
4.
That I don't know. It's not a lot because he just signed a deal like a couple years ago. It's not a lot.
I think he signed that deal last year. And I'm like, why is his contract almost up when we just re-signed him? But I'll give him.
But I would say good for Josh Metellus because the Vikings drafted a safety, and he was still on the team, so he had to grow and build his skill set just to take over that starting role. Like they didn't. They're like, oh, we don't trust Josh Metellus as our starting or safety. We're going to draft Lewis Seen here. And look what Josh Metellus did. He got better. So good for him. Let him gamble on himself. I respect that.
Can I make a hot take in the middle of the show? And that's that Josh Metellus will not get $10 million a year average annual value from any NFL team. Since it's getting called Kmart Keith now. Funny story. My first job was at Kmart.
Kmart Keith.
So it fits.
Like, I'm not that offended by it. I was there for 5 years.
Or fucking 5 years.
You getting too close to my job.
But yeah, no. I mean, I like Metellus. He's a good player, and he fits in what we do as long as we have Brian Flores. I don't think he would be a good straight-up safety. So, yeah, and I'm going to go and say I don't think he gets $10 million anywhere. So if he's going to be under $10 million for multiple years, why not? 3 years, $25 million. Let's get it done.
Yeah. And I think something is getting worked out because that first day of OTAs, he was on the field playing. He just missed the rest of the days.
Yeah, and, Vikings got a little bit of help that might be able to have that happen. After June 1st, the Vikings got a little bit more money. The cap got a little bit bigger. Right now we're sitting between $19-20 million, so they could make something happen there. We ended up getting like $5-6 million, Cody, once June 1st hit because Bradbury.
Yep, Bradbury. We knocked. We took on 1.8, I think, to 26, or we took on 1.8 to this year, and we gained 5.2 million or something like that.
This is gonna stick now.
Yeah, it's rough. That's your new headline.
That's fine. I'll wear it. I'll wear it like I wore that red vest.
I like it though. It's not a bad.
It's not a bad
nickname.
Not a
Martha
bad.
Stewart worked for
Like what from your perspective?
Martha Stewart. Bro.
I'll dig up all the blue lights. Oh my god, I hate the blue light specials were trash. I'll have to dig up a picture one day. I know I got pictures. JJL 2004. I'm actually an Orlando Magic fan, and I feel like the jerseys aren't that much of a change. A lot of people are making fun of it. Even Cody did, saying it looks like clip art. It just seems like they keep trying to like go back to their original uniforms, same but different. And I'm just tired of teams like the Magic that are changing their uniforms every 2 years or so. Like there's no tradition anymore. And like you see NFL teams are even doing it with the uniforms. I don't like it. Like I like when something sticks for a while, has some tradition. Like the Vikings should go back to tradition and then wear their old purple and gold jerseys.
It reminds me of
when
you create a team on a sports game and they got those generic logos. You just I want that one. That's what it looks like to me.
It kind of does. I mean, it's simple. It's basic. I don't hate it though. Only one that looks really like to me is the one that says Orlando. Like, not a big fan of that one, but
could be worse. You could be the Rams and have a dick in your logo.
Oh boy,
is that why they beat us?
Oh man. So, anyways, we were talking about Metellus, and should we extend him? And the Vikings got a little bit more money now, so they really could do that. Or they could roll it over because right now, I mean, I'm not going to get caught up in this, but right now they have negative $52 million in cap space for next year. So they could be rolling this over, but there's like 5 teams who are negative, and I know that's just not how it's going to play out. Like a lot of the guys we signed to big money, and really only this year's guaranteed. There's going to be restructuring. So, I mean, we're going to have money, but there is an option where we just carry this money over. Like we'll save it in case somebody gets injured, and then we got to go sign somebody. Or if not, we roll it over into next season's salary cap. But if not, maybe they go out and get another piece. So these are some players that I thought of that might be able to come in and contribute. Of course, there's Asante Samuel Jr. still out there. We got to find out what's going on with that neck. Mike Hilton, and maybe bringing back Shaq Griffin. Like those are 3 cornerbacks who would be on my radar if we feel we need to bring someone in. Like maybe Blackman's looking crisp and running and doing drills, but maybe he's just not up to speed to be a starter. Although I do think they like Okudah. I think they're really going to give Okudah a chance to be a starter in this defense. So I don't even know. We thought cornerback would be on their mind for the draft, and it absolutely wasn't. They didn't even sniff at that. So I don't know, but those are 3 out there. Then 2 safeties. You got Justin Simmons, and you got Julian Blackman. Simmons is the veteran. He's been a solid safety his whole career. Blackman, he's a little younger, played with the Colts. I like him. I think that'd be a good fit. It'd be Theo Jackson insurance because, he's never started, so we don't know. I wouldn't mind them adding another safety. Is there anybody else out there or another position you guys could see us attacking?
No,
it has to be cornerback in my opinion. I mean, we got it. We know who Byron Murphy is, and we know who we got in Isaiah Rodgers from that Super Bowl winning Eagles team. The biggest question mark we're throwing Okudah in the nickel is Mekhi Blackman. Like we don't know after that injury, we don't know who Mekhi Blackman is, right? So I think that's why you see Okudah in the nickel, and you still got Murphy and Rodgers on the outside. I don't think Blackman's even sniffing first team reps or even close to getting to it, right? Okudah's showing out as the better cornerback over Blackman. I think it goes Murphy, Rodgers, Okudah, and then Blackman on the CB depth chart right now. So, and that's saying something from Okudah being a bust being a bust first round draft pick. So I just don't think I still see the CB room as a weakness. And I would love to bring in a guy like Asante Samuel down the line and add him into this group.
Sarah's gonna make me go get the captain hat. I'm gonna need the captain hat because that's
to go get. It should just be.
I need to just grab it. I meant grab it.
Able to reach and put it on. What is this go get shit you keep saying?
Well, you know,
or should we?
No, he gotta go to the bedroom first.
Or should we go get a cornerback?
We should go. Yeah, there we go. There's the boy.
There we go.
That's
like, are you guys interested in this at all? Because a week or two ago, it seemed like a hot topic that Jalen Ramsey would be a good fit for the Minnesota Vikings and the B-Flow defense. Like, it's the perfect fit. A lot of people talk about, like, that's probably a likely destination because the Dolphins are going to trade him or get rid of him one way or another. But then there's now saying, you know what, the Vikings aren't even sniffing that price.
It all depends. Are we really? I mean, if they went and got him, that would be the clear-cut sign that we are in it to win it, baby. We are ready to go. If KOC and Kwesi think we're a legit, real Super Bowl contender, there it is right there. That's that piece.
Jalen Ramsey was on this team. There's no way JJ McCarthy went 88% completion percentage and fucking 26 touchdowns and OTAs. I'll tell you that right. That's saying something also to the corners that we have out there. JJ McCarthy's tearing them up. And I would rather see Jalen Ramsey out there facing against JJ McCarthy because that's only going to make JJ McCarthy better.
Robbie's saying our safety's old, and we showed a couple of safeties, so I don't know what he's talking about. So you guys are talking about if we're a Super Bowl team and they really believe in it, fuck it, go all in. What are you willing to trade to acquire him? Because it'd have to be a trade.
Probably it'd be a third round pick. I think any team, the highest they will give for Jalen Ramsey will be a third round pick.
Yeah, if you're taking on all that money too.
Where you're going to take on most of the money. I think a third round pick will probably knock around half of it off. Yeah.
So Ramsey is 30. Yeah, third rounder. I don't know. Like, I haven't really been enjoying the last two drafts with not having our draft picks, and not just in the sense of it's not fun to watch or follow, but in the sense like we haven't been doing too well in the drafts, and I think we need all the picks that we can get in the first 4 rounds. If you want to throw a 5th and a 7th rounder, okay, fine. Like I'm cool with that, but I don't know if I could throw a 3rd rounder next year and pay this guy $20 million.
Can we find somebody in next year's 3rd round that could be better than Jalen Ramsey?
Maybe no, probably not. But can we find someone that could be a starter for us for multiple years? Yes.
We're trying to win now, not later.
I'd rather see. Would have rather seen JJ McCarthy throw like
right. We're trying to win now, not later. Except we're mad about the drafts because we want to be able to have sustained success and not just sign free agents and be
negative
good for the year.
$52 million and get in cap.
I mean, we pretty much had sustained success. If you look back at the last 3 years of KOC seasons, we only had one down year because our starting quarterback got hurt.
Jason, you know what? Like, I hate to think it, but I do think Hawk could be on the move this year. If not, I do think this could be his last year at the Vikings because, like I said, their cap space next year is not looking great. And I don't think Hawk really has much guaranteed money next year, but he's owed a lot of money if he plays with us. I mean, maybe a restructure or a redo contract, but something's going to happen with Hawk. And I really like him. Like, I know a lot of people are down on him. I don't see it. I don't get why. I like him. So we'll see what happens. But he could end up being a casualty.
He'll have a resurgent year this year.
I see that.
This is such a hindsight take. If we didn't make that trade to Detroit, we could have Laporta on a rookie contract right now. Like, you're assuming that Kwesi would have hit that pick.
Fuck Laporta.
Like, no one was talking about Laporta until about week 9 of his rookie year. Like, oh man, this guy's pretty good. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Sarah, for the Kmart donation.
Oh, speaking of which, everybody, if you're feeling generous like Sarah just did, any super chats that you donate in the next couple of weeks are going to go towards us re-upping our StreamYard so we can keep going on this application. So, no pressure, but if you're feeling generous. Welcome back, Cody.
Oh man,
It was bugging me. They swapped you guys on the sides. I had to put it back. you everything good over there, Cody? You get hit by a tornado or something?
No, computer just quit. It just shut off on me.
How's the Wi-Fi? You're looking a little shaky.
Yeah, I gotta probably change the Wi-Fi here real quick. I got 2 different Wi-Fi routers. I'm all in the game.
So Cody's having a little bit of difficulty. So what we've been talking about is we have a little bit of money. Do you guys think that we're going to go out and sign somebody? Some other players that we could invest in besides Metellus is Josh Oliver and Ivan Pace. They're both going into contract years, and we could probably bring Josh Oliver's number down a little bit if we extended him. And, I mean, if you had to pick one, who are you bringing back? Ivan Pace or Josh Metellus?
Oof. Ivan Pace.
Really?
Without a doubt.
That was without a hesitation.
Ivan Pace, without a doubt. If we were to let that guy go, he would find a way to sign on with another team in the NFC North and crucify us two weeks every year.
You agree with that, Cody?
Yeah, 100. I 100% agree with that. I like Ivan Pace because he fits that mold into that middle linebacker role for us in the B-flow system and in any other system, in my opinion. And you have a no shit middle linebacker with him, and there's nothing behind Ivan Pace that if he does leave, right, and we do sign Metellus, there's no one that can be brought up into Ivan Pace's place in the 3-4 defense.
Dallas Turner.
Yeah.
Pace will be a top linebacker. Well, that's a little more mild than Cody's take that he was going to be an All-Pro last year.
Hey,
Cody likes it hot.
I loved it, but it didn't happen.
They didn't like it happen as one of the Vikings Mount Rushmores.
Who?
Not yet, man. Not yet. Cody shared something. Cody shared something with us that I just wanted to go over real quick, and that was at the NFL.com. They put out an article about which teams that haven't won a Super Bowl yet have the best odds to end that drought this season. There are 12 teams that haven't won the Super Bowl, and the Vikings were number 3 on that list, which is pretty cool, behind the Detroit Lions and number 1 Buffalo Bills. The other teams who haven't won a Super Bowl yet, it's the Bengals, the Texans, Chargers, Cardinals, Falcons, Jaguars, Panthers, Titans, Browns. So what upsets me the most about this list is not that we're third behind the Lions and the Bills. What upsets me is that there's 12 teams that haven't won a Super Bowl. Most of these teams, when you think about them, they're not really good teams, but we're in a group with them. And what also makes me mad is that I've seen these sorry teams actually playing Super Bowls. I've never seen my team actually playing a damn Super Bowl. We talk about we want to see us win the Super Bowl, and I want to see us playing the damn Super Bowl. Like I always say, I want those 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl. If my team's in the Super Bowl, like I want to go through that, and I never have. But the Panthers have, the Titans have, the Chargers have, the Cardinals have. Like, come on, man, get it together. What do you guys think about us being third on this list with our rookie quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, behind the Lions and the Bills?
Well, a few years ago, it was about 3 years ago, I saw a similar list where it was that, once again, that same distinction. And we were the top of the list. We were the best franchise. So I think it speaks to something about recency bias on what the Bills and the Lions have done. But I think that whoever made this list is going to find out real fast what kind of a drop off the Lions are going to have this year. Don't worry, next year this list is going to have them a little further down.
Yeah, we got them on 6 already. We'll get to that.
I can't argue with the list because we do have the most inexperienced quarterback amongst the top 3. So it is what it is.
Are they, though? I mean,
this is coming from an Eagles fan.
I mean, the Lions don't hardly have any SEC players starting for their team, do they?
So what the article said was that the change at quarterback could put the team over the top, or it could set us up for growing pains. So didn't really take a hard stance. I mean, it's either going to go one way or the other. But they did call this the best roster of the KOC era. Even with a questionable secondary, they called our defensive line dominant as far as names go, which is not something that we would have said about our defensive line the past few years.
Hell no.
So maybe we get that monkey off our back. We're on the NFL. I did want to touch on Aaron Rodgers a little bit. They did sign with the Steelers. We kind of did. He will not be a Viking. You guys happy about that? We're going to face him again overseas. Just as you thought we were done with him.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm happy with it just to see JJ McCarthy.
Thank you, Sarah.
Oh, shit. I'm happy with it.
Thank you so much again, Sarah.
Just to see JJ McCarthy be the starting quarterback for us. But, like, in my opinion, you have cornerback as the weakest on our team. But the second weakest that's really close to that quarterback or that cornerback is that quarterback. Because we don't have anything behind J.J. McCarthy, right? Like, if we brought in Aaron Rodgers, he started, he got hurt, or he got benched, we could fall back on J.J. McCarthy, right? Or vice versa, we could fall back on Aaron Rodgers if he did come in as the backup role, which I think at one point, didn't he say he'd be okay with that? It's a feeling that I don't like, because who's behind J.J. McCarthy? We're going to play Brett Ripien? He's not going to take us anywhere. I'm sorry. That's not happening.
Sam Howell, baby.
Yeah, Sam Howell. He's not taking us anywhere. It's just that the second string quarterback, the backup quarterback, is what's really it's really close to being the cornerback is our weakest position, and I don't want to lose this season because we have to rely on that second string quarterback. We've seen that, and it killed us.
Well, there still is another option out there, even with Aaron Rodgers off the board, and of course, I'm talking about. Maybe Joe Flacco becomes available.
Oh, my bad.
Joe Flacco, anyone? Can you take it? Nah. You got it. You got it, Shaq. Dan Graziano, he put out a thing today saying maybe the Vikings can offer a 5th rounder this year and a 7th rounder in 2027 to bring Kirk over, because Kirk has no trade clause and his options of becoming a starter somewhere are pretty much non-existent now with Aaron Rodgers signing with the Steelers. So if he wants to, leave the Falcons, it's most likely going to be for a backup role. Like the Browns, that might be an option, but does he really want to go play for the Browns? Does he really want to play outdoors? Does he really want to have to compete with the great Shedeur Sanders?
Keith, like you said earlier, I really don't enjoy it when we give up all our draft picks, because it makes it boring, boring draft, and it's for our future. So I really, a 5th and a 7th, I really just, I feel like we could get some good quality depth pieces there, and I just don't feel like we need to give them up for a backup quarterback.
I think you're being facetious a little bit, but also I said 4th round earlier, 5th round and 7th round. I'm good with. Plus, it's not in the same draft. It's a 5th in 2026 and a 7th in 2027.
Also, we're castrating 2 draft classes.
Yes. Spillman would be rolling over because like you gave up a 7th. What do you mean you gave up a 7th? Didn't we have a 6th to give?
Those are gold.
Would you guys welcome Kirk back
as the backup? 100%. As the backup, yeah. I need a quarterback to fall back on if JJ McCarthy. If something happens, God forbid, to JJ McCarthy.
Dude,
you
but
can
do you
add
think
Jalen Ramsey and Kirk Cousins, or you can add Jalen Ramsey instead of a backup quarterback. JJ McCarthy goes down, the season's over regardless.
Do you really think that Kirk could come in and play that role like for a prolonged period during the season, or do you think maybe he becomes a problem?
I think he can.
What if JJ's doing good and Kirk's like, damn, I'm probably not going to play? You think he becomes a problem?
He can say damn all he wants. He's getting paid to be that backup quarterback. I think he will be okay with it. I think it's fine.
Shaq, you said no, so I want to hear this.
Brett Ripien, just say that name.
I mean, is the UFL still going on? I mean, if he really wanted to start, he could just go do what Caleb Williams said he was going to do. Skip out of the NFL teams and just go play for a UFL team so he could start, make some money, pass stats. Other than that,
Kirk first round exit. I would definitely take Kirk back if he was coming to be the backup and he understood like the only way you're gonna play is if something happens to JJ. Like you like being in Minnesota. I believe you like living in Minnesota. Also, you're a liar, so I don't know if that was true, but yeah, I'd take him. I don't know the money thing though. Something would have to work out with the Falcons because definitely not paying backup quarterback top 10 quarterback money.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Michael Fish, you look conflicted.
He's a professional quarterback, but I was glad when the page was turned. I was glad when we moved on to a new chapter. I'm a believer in energy and what energy can espouse. And I think that you would be bringing back, whether he intends on it or not, a negative energy. We don't need a QB controversy. We don't need him to come in for a half of a game and play well and have the fan base talking about, well, wait a minute. We're rolling with JJ McCarthy. We're ride or die. Let's go.
I'm trying something new here.
So, what did we predict the Vikings' schedule this year? We were what, 15-2?
15-2.
Now let's go with this. Let's say we do make 15-2, but JJ McCarthy is hurt and can't play in the divisional game.
Does Joe Webb still have some eligibility?
Yeah, are we going to want Kirk Cousins back, or are we going to want to put Brett Ripien in the game?
Yeah, I think it would be the same outcome.
Yeah, the same outcome as the Joe Webb game. Do you know what I'm saying there? Like that's why we need a backup quarterback. We need one.
Can you guys even read those comments?
15-2.
We need a clipboard quarterback. That's all. Yeah.
I almost highlighted the one about the drummer from Mastodon. I think that's a.
Hey, thank you, man. Saw them twice.
It's better than being called Kmart Keith.
Yeah. I mean, but for real, if you really look at it, you got Brett. So let's say Brett Ripien or Sam Howell. Are you guys comfortable with them starting? We're 15-2, entering the playoffs, but JJ McCarthy went down or something. And are you guys comfortable with him, Brett Ripien or Sam Howell, starting in that first round bye divisional game?
I'm actually good with Howell.
You're going to be good with Howell, right?
Let me answer T-Bass there. No, I don't want our backup quarterback to come in and play terrible. But if Sam Howell or Brett Rippon comes in and plays okay and wins the game, and J.J. McCarthy comes back, it's still J.J. McCarthy's team. And we're all going to say, whoo, thank God Sam Howell or Brett Rippon came in and we're whatever, Bret Hart, the excellence of execution. They came in and they didn't shit the bed. But if Kirk Cousins comes in and plays well, I
just don't want to see it. Joe Webb.
I don't see it happening. The money just doesn't make sense. And if I had to, I'd rather pay Jalen Ramsey the money than pay Kirk Cousins the money to be our backup quarterback.
Yeah.
I just think it's gonna be the same outcome.
And if JJ McCarthy does go down, I'm gonna be depressed anyways. It's not gonna matter. The world's gonna end. So
yeah. What if we're like
Case Keenum's not gonna walk out of that tunnel? You know what I mean?
Shit.
Yeah. I heard that.
So if you guys are watching and you haven't subscribed yet on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button. All those little things help us. Oh fuck! Well, show's over.
You may all, Mike Greedy is here. You may all move about the cabin freely. Skol, Mike.
So let's jump into our new segment, which is Cody Calls It. And in this segment, it's going to be where Cody comes to us every week, and he comes with a statement that he's going to back up. And then us three, we either got to buy it or fight it. So what do you got for us this week, Cody?
So my Cody Calls It. It's a new segment, right? And there's most of us out there. We're firm believers on the year. We want to see this team do very well, all right? And we want to see them contend. We want to see them make the playoffs. And the biggest thing I see out there when I was looking at KOC's stat line is he's 34-17. And the first 8 weeks of our season is going to determine whether or not we can get out of that wild card or that divisional round, right? Our very first game, depending on how our record is, right? My Cody Calls It for this week is going to be, will KOC get his 40th win before his 20th loss? Which means he has to go 6-2 in the first 8 weeks. Right? Now let me break this down to you on the first 8 weeks. 4 out of 8 of those teams are playoff teams. Right? The last 3 games of that 8 weeks are the Chargers, Lions, and Eagles. Within those first 8 weeks, you had the Bengals out there also. Right? I'm going to say, because I'm a firm believer in this team that we're going to do really well this year, I'm going to say KOC does get his 40th win before he gets his 20th loss. I think it's going to happen week 9 against the Philadelphia Eagles, and we finally beat them going 6-2 heading into our season. Right? And you have to beat a team like the Eagles. You have to beat a team like the Chargers. KOC does, to show us that he can exit that first round and move forward, right? Not just get bounced out. I think if you want to be a team that everybody wants to believe in, you want to be a contender, you have to compete and beat these teams. You can't just lose by 3 to the Lions. Like last year, we had that feeling, oh, we only lost by this many points to the Lions. It was a really good game. We were up this many scores, but we didn't beat them, right? We have to beat the Eagles, Chargers, or Lions within those first 9 weeks, and I think we'll be all right heading into the playoffs and make us contenders. So I am calling it. KOC will win his 40th game before he loses his 20th.
Michael Fish, you buying or selling that?
So are you saying we have to go 6-2 for him to get his 40th win before his 20th loss?
That is correct.
Selling that shit.
Uh-oh.
We're not going to start off no 6-2.
What was
your start off 5-3?
Your Vikings predictions was 5-3. Your schedule.
I'm almost positive of that. I was trying to think back to all the games because I had us at 11-6, and I'm pretty sure I had us starting 5-3.
It's definitely going to be tough.
So you got the Bears, the Falcons, the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Browns, which I mean, you could be looking at 5-0 right there. Like that's obviously best case scenario, but it's not inconceivable.
Mm-mm.
Now you're looking at you need one win over the Eagles, Chargers, or Lions. And damn it, they're gonna beat the Chargers. All right? That's happening. So
yeah, because you're not going to that game.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yeah, we'll see. But I don't know. I'm buying it. Especially because I'm buying the JJ McCarthy hype, and I believe in the rest of this roster that we've put together. I think we're gonna beat teams that, you know, in our mind we think are a better team than us, just because of what's happened in recent history, like the Eagles, like the Lions. I think we're gonna compete. We're gonna beat them. The Bengals, that one doesn't scare me as much as it might scare other people. That's in Minnesota. I see us going 5-0. I really do, and the only thing that scares me is that I see us going 5-0. So I got us going 5-0, and then winning one of those next three at least. Yes, he will hit 40 wins before he gets 20 losses. What about you, Shaq?
I'm gonna have to side with the 40 wins before his 20th loss, simply due to the fact that KLC always usually start off by winning games, unless it was that weird year when we started off 0-4, and then Kirk finally picked it up. But I could see us, getting off to a strong start. The offense is clicking on all cylinders. They don't know how to stop our offense, and the defense is containing opposing offenses to less than 21 points. So I'm going with that 6-2 record.
Do you know what
Look,
scared me?
T-Bass.
What scared me about my calling it? I almost switched my calling it because of the Aaron Rodgers news going to the Steelers. That has added more pressure to what we have to get to in 6-2. There's still Aaron Rodgers in the day.
Are you worried about Aaron Rodgers, man? Are you?
I mean,
I'm worried about a Pittsburgh Steeler team. A Pittsburgh Steeler team. It doesn't matter who they have at quarterback; they make the playoffs every year.
Yeah, but the Vikings are going to be the first team to ever win a football game in Ireland. Like, yes. I'm no doubt in my mind about that. What about you, T-Bass? You think the Vikings will get KOC his 40th victory before his 20th loss, meaning they will have to start the season at least 6-2 for that to happen?
It's a coin flip. I'm not big on predicting records and stuff before preseason and stuff. So it's a coin flip. I mean, seasons are different every year. Teams are different. It's. I know it's fun to do. I just don't do it. Hey, I just wanted to come. I just wanted to come on and talk with fellow Viking fans because down here in Florida, I don't know anybody. What losing Jim Marshall meant to me. I'm going to be 59. So, I was a kid watching the Vikings play. I wasn't in the Minnesota market, so didn't get to see them a whole lot. But, I was very aware of him. I don't want to say he was a hero. I grew up, there was 3 World War II veterans on my block. Those were kind of heroes to me. He was more like a fictional character. Some, fictional character. And when you get a little older and you start playing organized football and you realize how violent it is and stuff, you start appreciating that record a lot more. And then when the internet comes out and stuff, and I love the Viking history. So when I read stories, see videos more about this guy that I never heard. He was a badass, man. And just think of just to piggyback on some of the stuff y'all said, 130 sacks. I was looking today. I think there was 5 seasons in his career. You know what the average team threw per game? Yes.
Like 15 times.
16 times. 16 times, I think 5 times in his career. Then it went up to like 22. There was never more than 28 passes, on the average. And think of this. He played on a line with Eller and Page, who both had, I think, 120 sacks at least. So how many sacks did he miss out on, or had to get a half a sack?
That's actually a really good point that I didn't think about. They didn't pass as much, which I know that. But when I was like going over his stats and looking like 130, it's okay, that's really good. That's 22nd in the NFL. But man, nobody else plays 20 years either. So he played a lot of freaking seasons. So it's kind of hard to say like his 130 are as impressive as somebody who got that number in 12, 13 years. But then you put it in that perspective that he wasn't facing that many passes and he was sharing, with the other guys.
He's sharing a lot. I mean, how many times
it makes it that much more impressive again?
Almost to a guy and Page got him or something or something, That's a lot of sacks between three guys. Just in any era. And an era. And it just sucks that first Super Bowl, Bud Grant came out and said he screwed up because people don't understand. Back then, that wasn't even the Super Bowl. It wasn't even called the Super Bowl. It was more of an exposition game between two leagues. And most NFL teams at the time didn't take it serious. And Bud Grant said they did not take that game serious. It was more of a vacation to Pasadena because they already won the championship. They were NFL champs, and that's what mattered. And they didn't take that game. The Colts didn't take the game serious against the Jets. The game named one. I mean, the NFL teams didn't. So it really sucks that. If they probably would have took it serious, they probably would have won that game. But none of those guys. It was a vacation for them.
That's crazy. I didn't know that history there. Which maybe I'm kind of glad because I want to be a part of the first one. So selfishly,
yeah. Some of the younger generation fans. I'm not saying of you guys. I've heard comments. He's like, "Well, he had 4 chances." These Vikings 70 teams choked 4 times. They couldn't get the job done. And I asked these people, who's your favorite Vikings? And most replies are Randy Moss, Adrian Peterson, Chris Carter, John Randall. And I tell them, well, to not be able to get the job done means the NFC playoffs is the job interview, and none of those guys even passed the job interview to even get the job done. So, you got to give respect. Even if 4 losses, get into 4 Super Bowls. And that guy was, I mean, did you guys ever hear the story about he was laying in the hospital on Sunday morning with pneumonia, pulled all the tubes out of himself?
I heard something. I didn't know he's in the hospital, but I heard something about him being sick and going out there and playing.
He was in the hospital with pneumonia, walked outside in his hospital gown, had the ambulance drive him to the stadium. He played the game, took the ambulance back to the hospital.
He said, "My streak."
Yeah,
I mean, the guy was a badass.
Kind of like Brett Favre when his dad died, and I was like, "Just miss this game. Go mourn for your dad." And he came and torched us.
And Jim Marshall,
getting a little more contemporary. I just thought of something about Cody's Call It. I actually might flip back to buying on that because that is just the
flip flopping like a fish out of water.
Well, but that is just the kind of stupid bullshit stat that they would put the asterisk of, but hasn't won a playoff game when they post it up on the screen during the game. So maybe it might be a real thing.
But Jim Marshall was just I mean, he embodied what Viking fans thought a football player should be like in the 70s. Playing outside in the snow. Somebody I like call him the captain of captains. I'm glad the Vikings have that wall, and I hope current Viking players learn about this dude. And and his leadership.
They should know. They should know he is the original Purple People Eater. He's the that group. He is the first Viking of that Purple People Eater, and he played 20 seasons for Minnesota. 20 seasons for the Vikings. Unheard of.
And everybody on
drafted by us.
Wasn't even drafted by us.
No, and everybody on offense and defense look his way. I heard Chuck Foreman said, he was the guy that you knew was going to get you to the other side when things were bad. I mean, they respect Bud Grant. Bud Grant would go to him when he wanted something implemented. He didn't go to the coaches. He went to Jim Marshall and said, implement this. That's how much weight he held for the Vikings.
You can almost say that the defense was built around Jim Marshall.
Yeah, look, what a great defense. I mean, somebody was talking the other day about Bobby Bryant. He's another guy that should be in the Hall of Fame. 52 interceptions, a lot of big game-winning punt returns and intercept. That guy was great. It's just, I know it's 2025, but it really hurts when I'm seeing players that I grew up watching as a kid. Now that they're passing away, you kind of realize your mortality. Like, damn, I'm getting old.
I want to show a commercial that I came across yesterday that was Fran Tarkenton and Jim Marshall. I thought it was funny as hell, so I'm going to show it.
I don't think I ever seen it.
Hey, Grady! Hey, look who's here. Hi, guys. How you doing? Well, if it isn't Francis Tarkenton. Yeah, the man who can't stay in the pocket. I think he's put on a little weight. Let's see if he still has his arm. Come on, Frank, throw me one. Hey, let's show him a little defense. Hey, let's show him a little defense. Get him, Jim.
If you find yourself scrambling around as much as Fran Tarkenton, you really ought to know about the shirt he's wearing. The knitted sports shirt from Arrow. It gives a man total freedom of movement. The supple knit fabric stretches as you stretch, moves as you move, doesn't bind, stays smooth. And even if it gets roughed up a little, you still wind up looking pretty terrific. The sport knit from Arrow. We call it the Scrambler.
They're talking about he put on a little weight.
Scrambling, it'll take yours.
I'm sorry. I saw it yesterday. I thought that thing was cool as shit.
I'm shocked that was in color.
I just wanted to stop by and give my tribute to him and talk to you guys about it. Big loss. He was great. Have a good night, guys.
You could pull off that.
You too. Thank you, T-Bass.
Thanks, T-Bass. I think you could pull that style off Fran was rocking.
I can. I like what he was wearing. The button up with the chin.
All right. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the Lions schedule real quick, and we're gonna pick it. We've already done the Bears, and we've already done the Packers, and we've done ours. So just a refresher, we have the Vikings going 15-2. Now that's not just us; that's everybody who's been in the chat, and we had a little bit different. But 15-2 for the Vikings, 10-7 for the Bears, and the Packers at 8-9. Cody, are you okay over there?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to charge my laptop.
Oof. Well, better hurry up then. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the Lions schedule to the stage. And we've already done 6 of the Lions games. So we're going to stick with it because we've been giving the teams a win or a loss based on what we did when they played the Vikings, when they played the Bears, or rating our predictions. And believe it or not, everybody in the chat and on the panel, when we picked the Packers, the Bears, and Vikings, we picked the Lions to go 0-2 against all 3. We have the Lions going 0-6 in the division, much to Robbie's chagrin. You know what? I wanted a Lion fan on here for this. Should we bring Robbie on?
Yeah, Robbie, hop on. We need your unbiased bias.
Yeah, we need your unbiased bias. I like how you said that, Shaq. We could not get a Lion fan. We need someone who's going to stand up for them.
Did people on the panel actually have the Lion? All of us had 0-6.
Yeah.
I'm
not saying it was like unanimous, but with our votes and the chat's votes, that's how the games all shook out.
God damn
it wouldn't surprise me if I did, Cody, because I feel like they're going to implode.
So also what I want to try to do is actually do polls and have them vote instead of trying to keep track. So we are going to have the Lions actually starting out 0-2. They're going to lose to Green Bay, and they're going to lose to Chicago. After that, they're going to go to Baltimore and Monday Night Football. Hold on. So you're going to have to carry this a little bit, Fish, so I can be doing the polls.
Okay. So, yeah. If you're in the chat, Keith is doing a poll. Please go vote on the poll. Your vote counts, unlike during elections. Let's see if they're going to catch a win or loss for this week.
So, Fish, you got a loss?
I got a loss.
Cody?
Man, they're 0-6. All right. Yeah, they're going to lose to the Ravens, I think. Yeah.
In Baltimore on Monday Night Football. Shaq, you got a loss?
That's a loss. I might go to that game just if we don't lose.
I'm going to go ahead and give it a loss. And if you guys are saying win or loss in the chat, it's not going to count unless you hit the poll button, because I'm not trying to keep track of people who do it twice and stuff like that. So that might have skewed some things. We're going with the damn poll. So, Tom, you're going to have to click it.
Yeah, and make sure you guys in the chat know what you picked when you guys picked the Bears and the Packers.
All right, so this is going to be a loss. We got 9 votes in the chat, and it's 100% for the Ravens.
So
you know what? They might be 0-16.
I think they're going to be pretty close. I think some people
problems. They got problems. So in week 4, that looks like a home game against the Browns. Shedeur Sanders coming out party. Myles Garrett. I think
I'll get this one started. It's a win for the Lions.
It's a win.
They get off the schneid and they go to 1-3 in my opinion. Fish, you got them as a win.
Yeah.
Cody.
It's a win.
Shaq.
Win.
What if the Browns are actually good this year?
It'd be a surprise like us last year.
The chat's not being as nice as us. It's only 56% out of 9 votes going for the Lions. But overall, Lions get their first win on the season. Who they got next, Fish?
Then they're going to be hosting the other Ohio team, the Cincinnati Bengals. And 1-4, baby. 1-4.
You're giving them a loss?
I'm giving them a loss.
What the hell, Burton?
Ooh. Wow. He just made that shit.
Told you, Pacers are going to win that NBA championship. Got a hot take on it.
Hey, their defense matches up well with OKC.
Isn't that how the New York series started with a Halliburton buzzer? But that went to overtime. All right, so Fish, sorry, you got a loss against the Bengals?
Yep, losing to the Bengals.
In Cincinnati. What do you got, Cody?
So I think the Bengals are going to start off hot, but I don't think their defense can keep up with Detroit's offense. Doesn't matter who the offensive coordinator is for that team. For their offense, I got Detroit winning.
What about you, Shaq?
I got Detroit winning. Both games, but I got Detroit winning.
I got Detroit winning. What about you, Robbie, and your Detroit hat?
Oh, I need to back up some. Let's see. Win, loss, win. Yeah, win. Get me for win.
All right, that changed nothing. Okay, so you got a win against the Bengals?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see what we got in the chat. Oh. I'm going to need Robbie's math skills.
I think the Bengals defense is going to be historically bad.
We got 9 votes. 78% go to the Bengals. Is that 8 votes? 8 out of 9? Is
Yes.
that 78%?
No.
No, you're doing a poll, so the
That's a
chat
lot
is
higher.
vote.
It's a lot higher than 78.
Oh, 78% is 7. 7 votes out of 9 is yes.
So 7 votes for the Bengals.
80.
Bengals win. So that's a loss for the Lions.
Mm.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough season for your Lions. All right, Fish, who we got next?
They head to Kansas City
Oh, boy.
to play the Chiefs.
Robbie, why don't you kick this one off?
You know where I'm going with this. The Chiefs are on a downward spiral, and I'm going to enjoy every damn minute of it. Oh, I
got to win. This is Sunday Night Football in Kansas City.
Oh, yeah. Fuck the Chiefs. I don't care if the Chiefs were playing the damn Bad News Bears. Fuck the Chiefs. That is universal for me to the end of time.
The only time tonight, I'm going to agree with Robbie. This is a win for the Lions. What do you got, Shaq?
Oh, my man.
Yeah, I got this as a win for the Lions.
Ooh. Cody?
The Lions have been close the back-to-back years against the Chiefs. They're going to take the W this time. I think the Chiefs' defense has gotten a little weaker, and it's the Lions' offense. It's a W for Lions.
Fish.
Is Chris Jones retired?
I don't believe so.
So Chris Jones is still playing for the Chiefs?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, Chiefs are going to win that game. Lions are going to lose.
And the chat overwhelmingly has it a loss for the Lions.
Guys,
this is almost not fun.
As you guys answer these questions, I just want you to have one thing in mind. Where are we better at than the Lions? What positions? Just hold on. Don't answer that. Just think that. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Just in the back of your mind.
I'm going to answer that because I just want to know what that has to do with this. We don't play the Chiefs.
No. I just want, as our evaluations from week to week, how our records represent ourselves.
Our offensive line is officially better than theirs right now, Robbie.
Okay, no, just keep that in the back of your mind because
I put it in the front of my mind. I'm answering your question.
No. What, Fish? We will say that for after. We will.
Linebacker and defensive line.
Damn it, Cody, we are saving it. All right, so the Lions lose that game. What we got next, Fish?
Now they're hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Vita Vea, and Frank Ragnar's retired.
Not wide receiver, not running back, not quarterback, not secondary. Yet we're gonna have a better record.
Robbie, after, like you said, back of your mind.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Another win.
This is Monday Night Football in Detroit. Robbie's got a win. Shaq?
Against the Buccaneers, I got this as an L for the Lions. Lost them last year, gonna lose them again.
What do you got, Cody?
I think they win.
Fish?
That's a loss for the Lions.
Oof. I got it as a win. And they're going to win that game. The chat has it 67% Lions.
Okay. Next week they have the bye. They're going to lose that. Week 9, they're going to they're hosting us. I think we have that as a group as a loss.
That already lost.
Week 10, they're going to Washington to face the Redskins.
Redskins.
Did we take the key to the Redskins winning that game away from them in free agency?
The Commanders.
Whatever.
Robbie.
Are these the same Washington guys that were in the NFC Championship?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, the same Washington Commanders that actually beat the Lions?
Yes.
Okay.
Minus one man that disrupted that whole.
So we can say that the Washington Commanders are a good team.
Yes.
We agree.
Okay, that's good. Okay, because I could have sworn somebody last week said they're shit. Maybe that's me. That's some dumbass said that. I don't. That's me having a senior moment.
Well, if you said they're shit, then you should correct yourself.
That might have been me. A senior moment. I'm sure I was on and I said that. Some fucking retard said that. It was me. I'm sorry. Anyway, I honestly, I'm gonna say loss.
Shaq?
I have this as a loss.
That's a good team. People are sleeping on Washington. Like, that is a very good team.
After last year, I don't think anybody's sleeping on Washington, Robbie.
I'm just saying, that is a good team.
I'm giving the
Where you
Lions,
at, Cody?
I'm giving the Lions the win only because that playoff game, one man wrecked that whole playoffs for the Lions. His name was Jonathan Allen. He broke the record for most quarterback hurries in a game. That game.
They stopped Gibbs. We didn't do that.
He stopped Gibbs because they had the pressures coming in. He's in the backfield every single time. And guess who has Jonathan Allen this year? We do, right?
Do we?
I think that's a big proponent to what happened in that game because the game was close.
I'm going to give him a win. I do think it's going to be a close game, and I don't know if I'm trying to overcompensate for all the losses they've taken or not, but I'm going to go ahead and give them a win. I do think Washington's a good team, but I do feel like we're going to see some regression.
Well, I'm not overcompensating for shit. It's a loss.
Well,
Jonathan Allen was not the only person who wrecked their playoffs. Jaden Daniels absolutely crucified their defense with pre-snap reads and quick releases.
You guys are also forgetting something. Someone's very unhappy right now in Washington about a contract. His name is Terry McLaurin. I don't know if you guys remember who that guy is.
Nope.
Very unhappy about his negotiations for his contract.
Is he a little bit scary?
He's a little bit scary. So there's talks about him possibly getting traded.
Oh boy, I haven't heard those. All right, well, it's a loss to the Commanders. Who's next on tap, Fish?
Then they might as well stay on the East Coast because they got to go play Philly. Week 11.
Oh, I messed that up. Robbie, this is a tough one for you.
No, it's not. I think this team's going to be undefeated. I honestly do. That team doesn't have a weakness at all. I mean, it just got better. I mean, it sickens me. It's like the freaking damn 27 Yankees. It sickens me. Like, it's a loss.
Robbie's got a loss. Sunday Night Football in Philadelphia, Shaq.
In Philadelphia, I got this as an L.
I got it as an L. Cody?
Yeah, it's a loss.
Do I need to even ask you, Michael Fish?
I think this one eliminates Detroit from the playoffs.
Oof.
Yeah, we're supposed
Wait, with 7 games left?
Yeah, they're 0-6.
I only have them like 1 or 2 wins, Robbie, at this point.
Damn, man.
And it's a loss.
Jesus.
You gotta remember, Robbie.
This is 1991.
We predicted the Packers and Bears schedule before this too, so you gotta remember that.
All right. After that, Fish.
All right, they're gonna get their next win. They're gonna host the Giants.
I don't know. The morale might be a little low.
By now, Dan Campbell is going to be going straight to rubbing alcohol.
Isopropyl, man. That's 70%.
I win. I got to win, Cody.
Yeah, they win.
Shaq.
That's a W for now.
Robbie. Tough game here. All right.
Rebate Robbie. You got a nickname now, Robbie.
I got coupons. I do.
So then they're going to Green Bay in Week 12. I think we already penciled that as a loss.
That's a loss.
I'm going 0-6 in the division.
This is great. Imagine this hits.
And then
Robbie can't even imagine that.
And then in Week 14, they have to go to Dallas. I think I'm going to give them their third win of the season.
Y'all are crazy.
They play very good against Dallas. They've shown it in the past 5 years. They play really good against Dallas. I got them winning.
I'm gonna give them the W. Shaq.
So y'all have them losing on Thanksgiving, and when
I'm gonna give the Lions an L. Dang, George,
You have them losing on Thanksgiving too, Robbie.
No, I did not. No, I did not. No, I did
So
not.
Shaq, you gave them the L against the Cowboys. What'd you give them, Robbie? Cowboys.
Oh, well,
W.
the Cowboys, I had a loss, but the Lions.
Oh, Cowboys a
Cowboys
loss.
lost.
My bad. Let me fix that. Sorry.
But the Lions will win. To answer your question,
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out a new format for this next year.
so Texas Tech won.
Yeah, it's a loss. Next.
Rocket L.
They are now going back home and hosting the Rams in Week 14. Week 15, sorry. On December 14th, 4 o'clock game. And I'm going to call that a loss.
You gotta think about that.
Yeah, I think Jared Verse is going to have Shaq beaming. He's going to be cheesing from ear to ear in this game.
Man, I got this as a Lions W. What do you got, Cody?
This is an L. We're going all the way, baby. The Lions have been so good. The Lions have been so good for the past 2 years that they're in our heads. They're living rent free right now, and we just want to see these motherfuckers lose. So it's going to be an L.
God, Shaq.
Yeah, this is an L for them. I actually see the Rams blowing them out.
Robbie?
We're in delirium at this point, already looking at the draft. So it's another Lions W.
Let's see.
You know, if they do lose these games, they're getting Archie Manning, right, guys?
No.
I wonder what the coach will do with that.
I'm all for a Lions downfall in the off season.
I don't.
This schedule though that we got here, I'm not buying it. We're definitely gonna have to revamp this whenever.
Okay, but you were buying 15-2 for us, right?
No, I came out said I think I had us 11 wins.
Yeah,
11, 12. Like, no, I'm not buying 15. That's saying that we're gonna have to figure out a different way to include the audience in this because I'm sure
maybe what we should do, Keith, next year is we should each do our record and have the chat have their record. So do the poll for each game for the chat. So that way you can say, you know, I'm 11-6, you're 11-6, and the chat was 13-4.
I got our individual records for us for our games.
So maybe that's what we should do next year, thinking about something like that.
I mean, I like what Jason said about the chat counts as one vote, but it wouldn't have changed much of these because it's still like been like 90% for one team. So
yeah, the chat is like hungry hippos, but you have 4 arms and you're playing against yourself, just slamming the shit away. It's chaos.
That's kind of funny. All right,
but you know what I'm fucking saying? It's like you're trying to get that last little marble and you're fucking slamming the shit, and the hippos are all fucked up and shit.
All right, Michael,
hungry hippos.
Michael Fish, move on.
That's probably the best thing you've
So
ever seen.
now the Lions have to go to play the Aaron Rodgers-ful Pittsburgh Steelers on December 25th.
Mike Tomlin's on the hot seat this year, and I hate to say it because I love that dude. Like, I still think he's one of the best coaches. But
this is about where they make their playoff run.
And I honestly think Aaron Rodgers is going to cause some poison this year for him as a coach, and I mean that. So, just for my love for damn Mike Tomlin, I think, sadly to say, I think it's going to be a damn Detroit loss.
This is their cold weather game outdoors in December in Pittsburgh. It's a
COVID
loss
chat.
for the
What do you got?
Lions.
I got this as a loss for the Lions.
Cody?
Someone's an Aaron Rodgers-ful. They're going to be Aaron Rodgers-less because he's probably not going to make this part of the season. And I'm going to give Detroit the loss because that's what it is. They're a top 5 pick team next year, boys.
I'm going to give the Lions the win. Michael Fish?
Oh, that's an L. Cold weather outdoors. Aaron Rodgers, their season's over already. Dan Campbell is in rehab for alcohol poisoning. I mean, yeah.
All right. We got 7 votes. 71% are for Lions. Is that 5 or 6?
5.
Okay.
So they're going to win this game.
Fucking hippos.
Hippos. And then they finish with Minnesota, Chicago, where they lose both of those.
Oh, shit.
So what's
the record?
Fucking 0-18, some shit.
This is not cool, guys.
0-54.
I feel like we should do this again, but we're not going to right now. 4-13.
Yo, no,
Yes.
it happened. Yo, no, it ain't happened. All right.
And now, Robbie, to be fair.
My question from earlier, but answer my question.
Okay, no, we will. We will get to that.
Where are we better than them?
Hold on.
Offensive
You didn't
line,
about us
defensive
yet.
line.
No. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Offensive line,
Yeah.
defensive line, linebacker.
We're better in the trenches. They just
Wide
lost.
receiver.
They just lost the guard and
No,
the center.
bullshit.
They're us.
Across the
from
board,
last year.
their receivers are better. Across the board, theirs are better.
What?
No.
Bullshit.
How?
Their 2
How?
is better than our 2. Their wide receiver 2 and 3 are better than ours.
What?
No.
Come on,
No,
Montgomery.
he's faster. He ain't better. He's faster.
Their
Think you're
backfield
running
is 1,000 times better than ours. Their
I'm
quarterback,
running 9 route. Yeah,
their
I'll
tight end is better than ours.
I'd do that too.
So,
Yeah, I wouldn't-
come
I
on.
wouldn't
Their
do that.
secondary, their entire fucking
I
secondary.
want to concede tight end.
Their entire secondary, fucking secondary.
Because after Laporta, they ain't got shit on tight end.
Yeah, we got 2 good tight ends.
No, we have 2 tight ends.
Laporta didn't have a great season last year, I don't think. I mean, he had a great rookie year, so what, now he's just fucking crowned for the rest of his life?
I think they're tied across the board. Tied across the board. Besides,
Hold on. Yeah, the record that we have for ourselves is what 15-2, and we have 4-12 or 4-13 for them. They should be comparable, kind of close.
Why?
Yeah. That's
Well,
my
I
logic.
mean, Robbie, just in the games that we did do, like I get we didn't do the North games because we've already done them.
Guys.
But I think you had the Lions with a
Guys.
losing record.
Guys, we have 2 polar,
Robbie.
polar shifting records here, and yet
Hey, but I'm just saying the
They're
games that we
terrible.
did do, I think you had them with a losing record.
Robbie, we have polar shifting records because there's more of the chat than there are the panel members.
the
Hey, how about this, Robbie?
The Hippos.
Because all of their tough games are on the road.
Oh, that's why. My bad. I'm sold up. Fish.
You think that doesn't matter?
Fish, I concede my point based on that alone. You're right.
Okay, how about they lost a guard and a center, and now their offensive line is just like ours for the last 4 years.
Right.
2 great tackles and shit in the middle.
8 of their 9 road games are against teams who were in the playoffs last year, and I think they all, won double-digit games.
Right.
They
Pretty
didn't
brutal
have
schedule.
the
I mean,
greatest secondary
I don't think it's
last
4-13 brutal, but would I be shocked if they won single digits? Not at all.
God. Good luck.
Hey, Robbie, let me ask you something. In 2001, did you think we'd go 5-11 after we just come off an NFC Championship appearance?
Fish, I barely remember 2023.
Well, the Lions are on their fall off. They've lost too much brain drain. They don't have the trenches anymore, at least on the offensive line. I'm sorry, dude. They're going to face too much interior pressure in Goff's face immediately from a lot of teams that have great defensive tackles.
So Robbie, you're smashing the over if I set it at 10 for Lions wins.
Yeah, I do that. But to be fair, I would say the same for us. Like 11 for both teams would be fair.
Yeah, I think
11 for both teams would be fair. I mean, seriously.
I'll agree with that.
I don't see either team winning 14 and 15, not by a mile. 11 for both teams, and Green Bay winning 10, and Chicago winning 8. Yeah.
Robbie, do you think it's possible Amon-Ra St. Brown could have a little bit of a setback from just having knee surgery today?
Yep, I do.
And losing.
I mean, right now I'm just kind of poking holes.
DC.
Still a good team. They're still a very damn good team.
Yeah, I don't think they're going 4-3. They won 15 games last year.
Well,
the Lions won 15 games last year with everybody.
Pipe dream. That is a pipe dream what y'all did tonight. Pipe dream.
The Lions won 15 games with half their team injured. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but the half their team injured was a lot of second and third.
That's that.
They were in the depth chart. Like they had multiple injuries at the same position. Nobody was injured on their offense like ever. They just lost like second and third stringers.
Put Aiden Hutchinson back in the game. Do the Lions do better in the?
Yeah, but their quarterback still threw for 400 and 500 yards a fucking game and 1 interception. So
yeah, I mean they lost.
We don't even know if Aiden Hutchinson's still Aiden Hutchinson though. We don't even know that.
Put Akeem McNeil back in the game.
You know, Cody's awfully low on Hawkinson coming back from a knee injury, and awfully high on them coming back from a knee injury.
Adam.
Yeah, Cody's showing some true. Cody, you might want to go change those lights to blue.
No, it makes.
Have y'all looked at Hawkinson's injury list?
They won 15 games without him. We're gonna win. We had T.J. Hawkinson, and we're gonna win that many too.
It's a good point right here. And now we got the AFC North, which deflated records.
Sarah, I'm glad, Sarah. That's the first time I've ever heard that. Good point. Fuck!
But I mean, not just us; it was the Lions too. So I want to ask you guys something about our schedule. And that is, what do you think is a more important 5-game stretch for us? Is it weeks 1 through 5 where we play the Bears, Falcons, Bengals, Steelers, and Browns? Or is it that gauntlet 7 through 11 where we play the Eagles, Chargers, Lions, Ravens, and then you got the Bears in there?
Oh, I'm going to start this one. I think it's 7 through 12 because we've seen this team beat those teams that we're supposed to beat, right? And then we go into games. We have to show this year that we have to beat the Eagles, right? Super Bowl defending champions, if we think we're going to get past that first round. Like, we have to beat the Ravens if we think we can get past that first round. We can go 14 wins a game again this year, right? Until we face a divisional champion again, and then we lose in the first round. I'm not all about losing in the first round anymore. Beat one of these really good teams, which we haven't shown in the past, these divisional champions, which you haven't shown in the past. Beat those guys, and then you can advance out of the first round.
I agree with that. And I do think we need to beat a couple of these teams to show that we can do something. But I'm going to go with those first 5 games are more important because the schedule does get more difficult. I think we need to start the season off hot. Like, we need to get that 5-0 record. And yes, it's an easier schedule than the rest of the schedule, but it's still not easy. Like, to come out of that 5-0, it's pretty impressive. It's not like a fake bloated situation. So I think we need to come out strong because the schedule does get pretty tough, and that gives us a little bit of leeway. But I still do agree that we do need to beat some of these good teams. What do you got, Robbie?
At first, I was going to say the first 5 to get that confidence, that whole get the ball rolling. If you didn't know, I have zero faith, confidence at all in this kid. None. Because the one thing I have not seen happen in this kid is him get hit in the mouth. And in that middle bracket, that gauntlet, he's going to get hit in the mouth. He's going to get knocked down. and he's going to get a loss, and he's going to get hit hard. And the thing that I need to see from J.J. McCarthy is his ability to get up. I need to see him recover from a loss, get up from the dirt, pick himself up, wipe himself off, pick his team up, and get the fuck back on the horse.
He did do that against the Raiders in the preseason game. He got laid the fuck out before he threw those touchdowns.
Let me go look at all the football cards I have and look on the back of the football cards and look at those stats.
Oh, so the hit's different because it's preseason. The impact he took and bounced back from.
I'm looking at my football cards. I'm looking at my preseason stats and my OTA stats. I don't see any stats on the back of those football cards. You know what I see?
You know what's not going to show?
I don't see any.
You know what you're not going to see on those cards is how many times he got hit before he threw the ball either. That comes from watching.
These football cards. I see none of those stats. So what I need to see is him get back up. That's what I need to see. So the middle bracket is what I need to see from him. I need to see a loss. I need to see him get up, and I need to see what he does. So middle bracket.
Yeah, I don't want to start 6-0 like we did last year.
He needs to take a hit. I'm dead serious. He needs to take a hit and get up.
He did. Do I need to bring it up? Should I go find it?
I wouldn't bring it up because that's kind of terrible. He got smashed by a third stringer. Don't bring it up.
And I still say that's the hit that tore his knee up.
But he got up and threw 2 touchdown passes after.
Good. I mean, that's good.
Hold on. I still don't see it on the card. I don't.
And it'll never show the hits he took on the back of his card. It could happen in the Super Bowl.
Honestly, we watched this team go 6-0, get bounced by a divisional champion. We watched this team go 5-0, finish the year losing 8 games.
You good?
Let's see what we can do against some really good contending teams.
It's the middle 5, and I'm going to use the term legitimacy.
Mm-hmm.
It's the middle 5, and we have to go 4-1 for the word legitimate to be used about our team. Even if we started out undefeated against the easier teams, the national press would just be waiting to call us a fraud if we started to stumble against the better teams in the middle of our schedule.
Yeah.
So yes, even though I think it would be important to get off to the fast start, get off to 5-0 or 4-1 in that first 5, we've got in order, and I don't think we will, but I'm just saying, to be able to be said as, all right, we're a legitimate threat, we have to go into that middle 5 and we have to win just about every single one of those games. And then we're rolling.
Win big games against big contending teams. That's right.
You riding with them, Shaq?
Yeah, it's definitely that second half. You got 2 divisional games, and then you got the Ravens. So it's a bunch of good teams that you want to see. If you beat these teams, then you could kind of take the Vikings serious, as in winning multiple playoff games. Because Super Bowl teams, they usually beat other good teams during the season. And it's kind of hard to figure out who's going to be a good team before the season starts. But I'm going on a hunch that these teams are probably going to have winning records and probably going to be dangerous in the playoffs. So you beat them during the regular season convincingly, then you have a good shot of being a Super Bowl contender.
All right, fair. All right, fellas, I think we've exhausted everything we can exhaust tonight. So why don't we go ahead and jump into our hot takes and get out of here?
No Gjallarhorn?
We'll save it. There's going to be less and less news coming these next couple of weeks. And we're also down to 13, so let's save it. Let's save it for when we got people watching. So, let's go ahead and get into the hot takes. Is anybody ready? All right, Shaq, what do you got?
The Minnesota Vikings defense will be top 3 in sacks and tackles for loss.
Ooh, I like it. Michael Fish, what do you got?
In the 2 games versus the Detroit Lions, Jalen Redmond will account for 5 or more sacks combined in those games.
5 or more sacks against the Lions?
Damn.
That's because the center being out, huh? That's asking a lot too, because you're asking Redmond to play enough to do that.
Yeah, I give it to you. He get 3.
I mean, this is very reminiscent of Shaq's Addison prediction that he would have 5 touchdowns against the Lions and 3 would be against Terry and Arnold. Some things you don't forget.
Oh, it could have been possible if Sam Donald was playing good.
No, well, it wasn't that at all. What do you got, Cody?
So JJ McCarthy, when he faces the all scary teams, if you look back in when he was at Michigan, right? He kind of, if you thought Jim Harbaugh came in, couldn't get Michigan, then he finally got Michigan going with JJ McCarthy as a starting quarterback. He went up against a scary Alabama team, beat him on the last drive. We're going to go up against the Philadelphia Eagles for KOC's 40th win of his career. It's going to come down to J.J. McCarthy with the ball in his hands with 2 minutes left. J.J. McCarthy is going to take us down for the final drive and win us the game against the Eagles. That's my hot take.
Okay. Very, very specific there. You got us beating the Eagles and on a game-winning drive by J.J. McCarthy. Everything that Robbie wants to see. And he's going to be there.
For
not wearing Vikings gear.
Win.
Not wearing Vikings gear, but he's going to be there. Oh,
Robbie,
is the 40th
I wouldn't blame you, dude, because you're going to get your ass kicked.
That will be the 40th win.
In Minnesota?
Oh, wait. Yeah, Robbie's going to get his ass kicked.
Jesus Christ. I can't. Every time.
Nicely. He's going to get his ass kicked nicely with respect.
Because Robbie, you said Eagles were undefeated. That's a scary team. Alabama was a scary team when J.J. McCarthy went up against him. What did he do?
It's my turn?
Beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Fish, I'm going to piggyback yours. Flores still yet to adapt to Jahmyr Gibbs, and he will have, in 2 games, 300 all-purpose yards against us in 2 games.
Okay, I'll actually buy that he'll have 302 losses. I'll buy that.
It's not bad.
All right, so for mine, I think with the sign of Jordan Mason, everybody's been pretty excited about it, and Aaron Jones is kind of being forgot about a little bit, which I guess, the shiny new toy. But what I'm going to go with is Aaron Jones will have a career best year, which now I got to say it again because the damn people just honked.
Finally,
I have to clip this.
Told you to speak up.
All right, so my hot take is that Aaron Jones will have a career best in rushing yards, which was last year. He had 1,138 yards. So Aaron Jones will have more than 1,138 rushing yards this year.
No way.
Good luck.
Thanks, Fish. Thanks, Fish. I need one of those in every one. Just, I might throw it in after Cody's. I don't know. I just need that.
Just don't throw it in after mine.
You know what? I just might have to see how it flows. I might have to see how it flows. It might work.
You're a master editor if you can make that work.
Oh God! Don't make it a challenge. I like Sarah's hot take. I mean, I think we've already had it. I think we've actually had somebody saying he's going to win it.
I think Cody said it.
Yeah,
David drank the Flavor Aid.
I was thinking it was Rinaldi. I know Cody said he was going to lead the NFL and QBR and passing yards and
QBR air yards. QBR and
you guys were full on just put it right in the vein. Oh Jesus Christ!
I mean, I'd rather be putting it right in the vein than be down him and hoping for his downfall.
Robbie, are you wanting
Cody? Hey, Cody.
James McCarthy to fail?
I got a question. I've got shoes.
Run in them. Run away.
Wasn't that guy last week doing that? That's crazy, man. Hey, I got a question.
Run away.
This drink tastes good. What's your question? God damn it.
So if let's say, are you wanting JJ McCarthy to fail so you can say that you can say I told you so?
Hey! I covered this several times. I will not cover this again.
Okay, let's say he throws 3 picks game 1. Are you gonna? I told you so.
Absolutely not.
Okay. All we needed here.
I will not need to.
All right. Let's get out of here, boys. Shaq, what are your final words?
Thanks for everybody who joined us tonight for another Let's Go podcast. Make sure you haven't already left a like. You hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Even on Facebook, you can also leave a like. Make sure you also sharing this stream because we're trying to reach the top, becoming the top 5 Vikings podcasts of all time. If you want to feel generous, you can also give us donations like Fish was alluding to earlier at Cash App, Let's Go, or you can donate on YouTube by clicking a little dollar sign, or even on Buy Me Coffee at Let's Go.
Fish.
Rest in peace, Jim Marshall.
Dear God,
You
yeah.
will not be forgotten, even by those who never got to see you play. For Vikings fans, by Vikings fans, let's go.
Let's go. And like I said earlier, his name gets brought up every season, and I think that's going to continue on. So that's a good one, Fish. Robbie, what do you got for us?
Fish, I got homework for you. This is my final word. As somebody who does not like college football, I get it. But I have homework for you this offseason. I want you to do me a favor. It's a polite request, because I know you do not like college football. This is somebody I want you to look for. I want you to watch a team this season. Just one game, one Saturday. Every Saturday, I want you to watch a team. I think they're going to be better than what you think. And there's a player on that team that I think we are going to draft in 2026. And again, it's a polite request. I want you to watch the South Carolina Gamecocks. They're going to be better than what you think. Shaq Hush, because we are going to be drafting who I think has it. This boy has it. Lenore Sellers. That's who I want you to watch, please, is my request to you. It might interest you in watching college football, which will make you might appreciate the draft a little more. That is my polite request to you, sir.
Robbie, respectfully, no.
Fuck you. Okay, all right. I thought you were going to say go fuck yourself. But also would have been apropos. You really hate college ball that much?
No, I don't have time.
Oh, God, that works too. Damn it. Oh, the other one would have been better. God damn it.
I don't have time.
That boy has it.
Is that the quarterback?
Yeah.
I don't have time. I don't have the bandwidth to watch college football. I don't pay attention to any sport other than Minnesota Vikings playing football.
I was unaware of that.
You can't tell me that Robbie's not rooting for JJ to fail when he's already trying to draft a quarterback next year.
That boy has it. That was my final saying. Fish out. That's all I had. That was my request.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though, I will watch clips of them at the end of the season.
Fair enough. Hey, that's a polite compromise. I appreciate that much. Thank you.
For you, Robbie.
Cody.
Yeah, it's Thursday. Tomorrow starts your weekend after, you get that payday going and you're about to have fun out there. You guys are going to hit the bars, maybe get drunk. Maybe you need some more beer, hit down the fucking gas station or the liquor store. I know Keith is drinking water. He's killing it right now. He's got everything going for him right now. But, hey, if you're going to go out, all right, if you're a little bit drinking, you're a little intoxicated, hey, be safe, have a plan, all right? Always have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you better be good or you better be good at it, if you know what I'm saying. All right. Other than that, always, let's go.
All right. We'll see you guys next Thursday. Let's go.
Oh.
Peace.